Palestinian officials in the Gaza Strip have released an alarming report on the extent of destruction of civilian structures by Israeli forces in Gaza City since the start of their assault in August. Gaza's government media office said the regime's forces have completely demolished over 1,600 multi-story residential towers and heavily damaged another 2,000 buildings. It added that Israeli forces have also destroyed 13,000 tents sheltering displaced families and forcibly displaced over 350,000 residents from the eastern neighborhoods to the central and western parts of Gaza City. The office described Israel's targeting of Gaza City's civilian as part of the regime's campaign of systematic destruction, genocide, ethnic cleansing, and forced displacement against Palestinians. It slammed the regime's campaign of destruction in Gaza City as a blatant violation of international humanitarian law and the Geneva Conventions, urging the international community to act immediately to protect unarmed civilians. Mr. Jim Kavanagh with us. He's a political analyst and blogger joining us from New York, US. Mr. Kavanagh, good to see you again. Mr. Kavanagh, your thoughts on many saying that this type and extent of destruction in Gaza City is nothing but genocide and ethnic cleansing. And Mr. Kavanagh, the problem is not that it is not taking place, let's say, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, when people couldn't see what was happening. Now you can see it live as it happens, and yet the regime is being supported by the very countries that boast about human rights laws and so on.
Yeah, well, those countries have discredited themselves entirely. They have no right ever to open their mouth about human rights law or democracy or international law. What is happening in Gaza is a blatant violation of every international law and every human rights law, and really of what we thought, certainly the West, and not just the West, but the world thought we had left behind. You know, we thought we had left behind apartheid and colonialism. These were things that, okay, even until 1948, we could get away with colonialism. It was, that the idea of some Europeans going to colonize an Arab country, well, that's okay still in 1948. By the 60s, that was not okay. And it took until the 80s, the late 80s and the early 90s to do away with apartheid in South Africa. But everyone was ashamed of that. And everyone in the West and all the Western liberal countries certainly we're claiming that they were over that. Never again will we do something like, never again will there be a genocide. Will it be an ethnic cleansing, a genocide like we did to the Native Americans, like we did to the people of Congo, et cetera, the Algerians. Well, it's been happening since 1948 in Palestine. It is continuing to happen. It never stopped. It slowed down. They did it a little bit at a time, gradually, and then with occasional bouts of intense violence, and now they're at the end game with it. And they are saying, we're going to get rid of the Palestinians from Gaza, they're clearly going to get rid of the Palestinians from the West Bank if they can, and that means we're going to kill them and expel them, and those who don't leave will be killed. And it's just amazing to watch Israel just blow up every building in Gaza. It's already done it. Now they're doing it in Gaza City, which is incredible, but they're just going around blowing up every building. You don't have any place to live, so get out of here. And this is sponsored and paid for by the United States, and it's sponsored and supported politically and diplomatically by every Western European country. And it's a disgrace, and it's not going to stop. I don't know what to tell you. I don't see it stopping until Palestinians are killed or expelled.
And Mr. Kavanagh, especially when there's no accountability.
Yeah. Well, this is the point. The Israelis feel they have impunity, and they do. Here's the problem. There's no country in the world, including those countries that are claiming to be the leaders of a new world order, which is a multipolar order, and they're not allowing the United States to set the terms of the world order anymore. And they are very well challenging that throughout the rest of the world. The United States does not and cannot set the terms for the world economy and the world politics, except in the Middle East, except in Palestine and West Asia. There, all those countries, Turkey, India, China, Russia, they're allowing the United States and Israel to continue to set the terms, because there's no country in the world that is willing to challenge and risk the results of a conflict with the United States and Israel, both of whom have nuclear weapons and both of whom will use nuclear weapons against anyone who challenges them with enough force. So they know that, and they're not, and they think what you're learning here, they just bombed Qatar, right? They're destroying Lebanon, they're bombing Syria. Countries in the world that are sitting back and watching this saying, oh, this isn't affecting me in Russia, or this isn't affecting me in China, or this isn't affecting me in Turkey. I don't care what happens over there. They're making a mistake, because the Israelis and the Americans are going to attack they're showing this. They're going to attack anybody they want. These Gulf kingdoms think they're being protected by the United States. They are not. So all of these Arab countries who are doing nothing, and all of the countries in the world who are doing nothing because they think it's not going to affect them, they're going to learn the hard way, as Qatar just did, that it is going to affect them eventually, and it's going to be harder. They're going to have to take the risk of the confrontation at some point, but I'm afraid they won't do it until after it's too late for the Palestinians.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanagh. There you have it. Mr. Jim Kavanagh, political analyst and blogger, joining us from New York, the US. Mr. Kavanagh, thank you for your time, sir, as always.